Hi, this is for section 10.5, graphing quadratics, and what I want to do is just show you the three things that I want you to be able to find and label correctly on a graph when you're given a quadratic equation. Okay, so the first one here, we're going to have y equal x squared minus 10x plus 16. Okay, so that'll be your equation, and we want to see what that looks like over here. So we're going to find three things. One of them is pretty simple. First one's the y-intercept. We want to know, where does this graph hit this y-axis? And if I want to find a y-intercept, the easiest way to do that is just go ahead and put 0 in for x, because anywhere you are along this y-axis, your x coordinate is going to be 0. Okay, so if you put 0 in for x, you'll get 0. 10 times 0 is 0, and then you get 16. So we'll be at the point 0, comma 16. That's our y-intercept. So if we were to come over here and we get to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, there's our y-intercept. Okay, we'll label it y-intercept 0, 16. All right, so just to kind of give us an idea. So we know the graph comes through there, but how it goes after that, we're not sure. We got to find some other stuff. So now we're going to do the x-intercepts. And if to find the y-intercept, you set x equal to 0. To find the x-intercepts, you set y equal to 0. Okay? So we're going to put 0 in for y, and we're get what was originally there, x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Now the nice thing about the ones we're going to give you is that they're all factorable. So you should be anticipating that this will factor in some way, and this one does. Negative 8 times negative 2 is 16. Negative 8 plus negative 2 is negative 10. And if x minus 8 equaled 0, then x would equal 8. And if x minus 2 equaled 0, then x would equal 2. So our x-intercepts are 2, 0, and 8, 0. 2, 0 right there. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. All right, so now we can kind of see what the graph's going to do. It's going to come down from here, all right, and it's going to come through this point, and it's going to come down and turn and then come back up through this point and go up this way again. Okay, so that's what the graphs of these quadratics are going to look like. They make like a U shape. What we want to do now is find the last thing, and that's the vertex, and that's the point down here where it's going to turn and come back. Now the nice thing about the vertex is it's going to be halfway between your x-intercepts. So if one x-intercept is at 2 and this one is at 8, and we come halfway, so let's go here and here and here, our halfway point is at x equal 5. Okay? Sometimes you'll hear that called the axis of symmetry. We're not going to get too crazy about that, but it's a line that splits your graph right in half. Okay? And what we know about x equal 5 is that's where the vertex is. It's somewhere along this 5 here. So our vertex, we know, is at 5. But what's the y value, right? Well, in order to figure that out, what we're going to do is put 5 into this equation for x, and then we're going to see what y equals. So y equals 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 10 times 5, which is 50, plus 16. And we're going to get negative 25 plus 16, which will give us a negative 9. Okay, so 5, negative 9, right there. That's our vertex. And now we can finish the trace of this graph. And it looks something like that. If you have a graphing calculator or something like that on your phone, you can make a graph of it and see and check it out, make sure that it works. Or if you have GeoGebra on your laptop or whatever, there's ways that you can graph these and whatnot, but the process is pretty simple. Put 0 in for x, that'll give you this y value. Put y equal to 0, factor it out, that'll give you your x-intercepts. And then go halfway between them, that's your x value, plug that in to see what your y value is. So let's do one more example together, and then we'll let you start that worksheet. So y-intercept again, we're going to set x equal to 0. So if I put 0 in here, 0 minus 3 gives me a y-intercept of negative 3. So at 0, negative 3, there's where the graph is going through. Okay, 0, negative 3 is my y-intercept. For my x-intercepts, I'm going to set this equal to 0. sorry, again, this is what it should be originally here. So for my x-intercepts, I'm going to set y equal to 0. So we're going to get 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. And then I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal -3 and add to equal -2. Those are -3 and +1. And so that gives me x equal 3 or -1. 3 minus 3 would be 0. -1 plus 1 would be 0. Okay, so my x-intercepts, -1, 0, 3, 0. -1, 0, and 3, 0. Okay. So now what I want to do is, well, I'll label those real quick. 3, 0. Okay. Now what I want to do is find where my vertex is. So if I come halfway between here, go one step, halfway between is at x equal 1. Okay, so I know my vertex has an x value of 1. To find the y value, I'm going to put 1 into the x. So y equals 1 squared. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2 times 1 minus 3. And this gives me y equal to -4. So at 1, -4, there's my value. Okay, so now I can trace this and I come through. Vertex bounces back off. And there's my graph. Okay, so again, set x equal to 0 to start with. That'll tell you where you're at on the y-axis. Then set y equal to 0. Solve it out like we've been doing with factoring method, and you'll get your two x-intercepts. Go halfway between. That'll be your x value of vertex. Plug that in, and that'll give you your y value. And then that's your process. All right, so good luck on the worksheet, and check out the video to see how you did.